But thanks, Bimlesh. Thanks, Ashok. So, where are you guys very quickly? I know that Bimlesh, I mean, Jagat and me are in Bangalore, but where are you guys, Ashok and Bimlesh? Are you in Bangalore, outside of Bangalore?
Yeah, I'm in Bangalore in the Bangalore area.
Okay. And Ashok, you
I'm
guys?
from Pondicherry. I'm in Pondicherry.
Oh, nice, nice. So, Pondicherry, for whatever reason, has been in the news also, right? I mean, the political news. So
Yeah, I stay very close to
yeah.
the epicenter, just 500 meters away from that.
You actually
Oh,
are
okay.
the epicenter. You just don't know it.
Hey guys, good, good, good.
Nice.
So let's get cracking. The Startup Sunday is always about it's an informal boardroom where we try to see what are the challenges. Like Bimlesh and Ashok. Of course, Jagat has been part of this for some time now. We have been doing this for the last few months. But
Okay.
see, as founders, whatever you're striving to do, how can the community and how can other founders come together to help you out is what the main focus here is. Number one. And number two is yes, can the founders also help each other and support each other and do business together? Okay, I just want to stress this again, right? Because charity is not what we really care about. What really matters is about coming together to do business, to create opportunities for each other, to promote and help and support and everything, right?
Right.
So we care about the fact is that yes, it's good to do work for the community, but it has to also integrate to doing work together that can help you to grow and sustain yourself, right? So keeping that in mind, I mean, please, we are live, so please do give a quick introduction about yourself. You can share your screen, you can talk about your company, about yourself, and very crisp overviews. Okay? So we also have Priyank who's here, Akshat is here, the Kutum team is here, who have been also using the Jagat's platform. And thank you, Jagat. A special thank you to you for giving us this platform to enable all these activities and ecosystem activities. All right.
Just a
Okay. So
pleasure. Hats off to you. You're the
thank
man.
you.
So good evening
So
to you. Yeah.
oh, not at all, not at all. Yeah. So Bimlesh Ashok, first is you are
Thank
our
you.
guest, and then of course Jagat, a connection, introduction, and talk about what you're doing in life. Please go ahead.
Sure. Ashok, why don't you get started, please?
Okay. Well, I'm based out of Pondicherry. I basically run a small boutique IT company in Hyderabad, based out of Pondicherry. Recently, I started a new venture which is called realfoods.in, which is basically into providing organic foods to the consumers. This business it's more of a passion to me. I've been working on this for last about 10 years or so. I myself been consuming organic foods. I come from an agriculture family. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to step into the agri field. Uh, the reason is the two. One, I'm a foodie, so that is one of the main reasons. One of the reasons. The other is requirement for a society to grow, develop, flourish is health. Now, this health happens or is directly proportional to what goes inside you, right? So that's what prompted me to get into this. So it's taken me about 4 to 5 years to choose the right products, right farmer producing organization to bring in, because you can see thousands of organic products. If you walk into any supermarket, you'll find thousands of them. We didn't wanted to do all that thousand. We wanted to be very, very choosy. Having experienced food for the last 10, 12 years, organic food, I knew what exactly it is. So it took me time. So we're fortunate enough to find a few such organizations which are doing. So currently, I'm working with a company called Mera Kisan, based out of Pondicherry, started by a very passionate character by name Prashant Patil. They work with thousands of farmers across 7, 8 states, and they're expanding. They have funding, or I don't know, people like Anand Mahindra and Ajinkya Rahane, who are the investors, and Ajinkya is also the brand ambassador. So this Mera Kisan, I have started working with them after looking at them, their fields, their everything for the last about 3 years. So, and we're trying to in the coming months, we're trying to expand our portfolio. it's very difficult to choose, get on board a right product, a right agri field, etc. So we are working towards that. 11th of March, my e-com site would go live. Currently, we are doing with just an WhatsApp catalog. So briefly, that's what it is. It's completely bootstrapped. So
Fantastic.
So you can imagine the background. It's all from house.
Right.
I'm fortunate enough to have a, spacious house with the two entrances. So one part of it, I'm using it as my stock and everything. So everything happens from here.
I'm happy to say that we were first customers, one of the early customers for you as well.
Yes, one of the early customers, in fact.
I don't know why
There
it's
were certain terms to work with my principals.
Small towns, small cities also create a lot of entrepreneurs, Ashok. So it's a very interesting story that you have got to say to us. Okay, so thank you for sharing this. And Bimlesh, would you like to jump in quickly?
Yeah,
Thanks.
sure. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. My name is Bimlesh Gundurao, and I'm one of the founding partners at 1000founders.in. We are an execution-focused accelerator for startups. Um, we have started recently in January 2021. Basic hypothesis is, 99% of startups fail, and the 1% that succeed well, they succeed due to timing and execution, and with the right product, with the right market. And our entire mission is to help 1000 founders over a period of 10 years to fix their execution engine, right? And that's our primary focus of the accelerator. Prior to this accelerator, I've run three ventures. I've had one exit. I've had one failed healthcare SaaS startup. The healthcare SaaS startup was, pharmacy.com with a Z, where we were connecting pharmacies, pharma distributors, patients, and doctors, basically covering the entire outpatient life cycle. And after that, we pivoted into an outsourced product development company, and one of our customers from the US ended up acquiring my team, right? And then I started Pitch Camp, where I consult for companies. I coach founders on investor pitch and on founder-led sales, right? And during this journey is when I met my current three co-founders, and we got together and we started 1000founders.in. Prior to my entrepreneur journey, I spent close to 16 years in the corporate world, primarily with Satyam, Mises, and Allscripts, all focused on B2B technology consulting and with product development. I am an alumni of Symbiosis, basically a Mysorean living in Bangalore, but brought up in Chennai. So that's my mix of my early days.
Okay, thank you, Bimlesh. And so I think Jagat, before you kick in, we have two very interesting and very experienced folks. Okay, so you have seen the ups, you have seen the downs, and Bimlesh, the very fact that you're creating a startup with your co-founders where you are trying to look at how you can help other founders. I think that's really good. And yes, you must make money out of it. You must self-sustain and amazing stuff, man. Thank you so much, Bimlesh. We have been connected, but we're not really spoken or
Yes, yes,
deep dived into what's going on with each other. But thank you so much
right.
for joining us today. Okay, and of
Absolutely,
course,
my pleasure.
Jagat is our host, and yes, he's someone that I know for a few years. Someone who's trying to do his very best to grow the community, and that's a commendable thing because as a founder, it's not easy because you also have to pay a lot of attention to what you're doing, to your family, to your people, to your customers. And Jagat, over to you, man. Let's hear from you, sir.
No, thanks a lot. I think it's all due to you. I think both LXS and Startup Sunday. Now we're in excess of 50 episodes. And I don't know how many, 100 founders. I've been nearing probably 100 founders, whether probably 100 founders, somewhere there, right? 60 plus. That's, I think, really. So, anyway, so I'll just quickly jump to just a small deck, 3 slides, and kind of explain what we do. So, my screen is visible, right? So, you can just click on my screen to full screen right, in case you want to click it. So this is Vidphone. So we call it for it's Jan 2020. Really sorry, we use the same thing. Vidphone is the virtual office for remote work. Right? So the whole thesis here is that last year we have seen remote work become mainstream, and it's only becoming more. It's not a question. Even if the pandemic gets better, definitely you're going to have a hybrid model, and you need. Basically today we all miss the office, and we think, why can't there be a virtual office? And this is the virtual office, as simple as that, where you work, where your customers and employees come together. That's the whole idea. So it's a video first remote work platform. So we have basically it's all about what we define remote business is two things mainly: customers and employees. And both these things today are really broken in video. Like your customer cannot contact the business in video. Like you have an email address or a phone number, or even an office address, right? A physical place where there's touch point. In video, there is no touch point today, and that's a big surprising thing. And also the employees, just scheduling Zoom meetings up and down. I think Zoom fatigue is there. People are really tired. So you need an option, one hub for remote business. It's a virtual office. I'll get to the challenges later once again. Thanks, Vijetha. That's quickly about us. About me personally, I think I'll just share briefly. An entrepreneur now of 10 years, and Vidphone, of course, is now the what do you call it? The latest stuff that we're doing. It's the flavor of the season, right? This season it's Vidphone, and I think it's the best thing we've built so far. So let's see. We should do that.
Thank you so much, Jagat. And I think let me just quickly throw in this background that I know Jagat from the time that I used to also work with the NASCOM Center of Excellence, but he was an incubated startup at a NASCOM 10K warehouse. So that's how we used to always catch up and talk. And he always, Jagat, one thing is that the enthusiasm, wanting to do something, grow the community, and of course, yes, grow the way that he can move and connect with people and grow the business, bring in solutions. Maybe in a way that the pandemic and the lockdown has actually accelerated your progress and help you to grow to a larger extent and get in customers, etc. Right? So here, see, while it is informal boardroom, while Jagat, Ashok, and Bimlesh, we are talking about the challenges that you guys are facing to grow your business. We're also trying to see how the innovation clusters and ecosystems also can grow. Okay, so
Right.
in no particular order, but Ashok and Bimlesh, you all are our guests also. So, what are the specific challenges that you're facing in your business? You can talk about it, you can present it, up to you. And why we're asking for you to put this out is it's all about a community. And can you guys help each other out? Is there some way that you all can collaborate or partner with each other? Is also a very core aspect of what we're trying to do. This, as Jagat is saying at Startup Sunday, League of Extraordinary Startup. We're also doing these things, combining together. Okay, it's all about community and ecosystem. We're not trying to do too much beyond that, but it's a very critical factor. So, Bimlesh or Ashok, whoever wants to go first. Bimlesh, would you like to talk first?
Sure. So our entire model is going to be a community-led model, right? Where so today we just completed our first cohort of 9 startups that we worked with for a pilot. So we have a 11-month extended program in which the first month is a pilot where we work with founders, try to see if we can work with them. They are coachable. They like to work with us. They find us equally valuable to spend their time to be coached by us. And once this is done, we move on to a 11-month rigor, right? And so that's our associations, right? And we have just finished the first month of our own execution, our own experiment with our focus. And very glad to say that out of the 9, 6 of them have chosen to continue to work with us for the 11 months, right? 3 of them dropped out during the program, and the ones who stayed back have absolutely seen the value of working, having clarity, focus, and direction that they have been able to achieve over this 1 month, and committed to work with us for the next 7 months. So this is going to be one of our primary models, right? And one of the ways that we are going to do this going forward as we scale is to have a rolling cohort. So we have our applications open for subsequent months, so people come and apply. We go through a evaluation process to see where we can add 3x value. So we have had businesses come in as old as 2010 that have applied, with a single question that we ask, on your growth stage, and most of them, are are having customers, are having revenues, and are stuck at slow growth, right? And our perspective is if we can add value, we can't. Right now, we are three founding partners who will work with them. But our primary thesis is as we scale, we will enable more founding mentors to come on board, thereby giving diversity and wide experience of mentorship back to the community. So our challenge, the way we see, is we are going to be a very strong community-led model, right? So we will need platforms like this and the ecosystem like this, where we can bring in past founders to come and share perspectives. So our ongoing challenge is always going to be curating the quality of mentors that we need to bring on board and have them to work with our startups in our accelerator. So that's where we see the current programs and the way 1,000 founders
Of
to be.
course. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bimlesh. And yes, I think Jagat, you have been part of NASCOM, and the statistics says what 45,000 startups are there registered in India who are trying to disrupt the ecosystem. And yes, the more power, the more collaborations, the more partnerships, and the more avenues and roads towards growth that we can show for startups. There's so much more that we can do, and building innovation clusters and everything. And yes, I think what I also see is that a lot of these startups will need help in go to market. They will need platforms like Jagats to find ways to do this remote sales, video sales, and connect with more customers for themselves. They have to connect with more customers. So today's scenario has kind of changed a lot in the last 1 year. And fantastic, Bimlesh, and more power to everything that you're doing, my friend. Thank you so much for that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And Ashok, sitting in Pondicherry, how are things with you, and what are the challenges that you're facing with your entity and with your founder? What is your story, sir?
Yeah. See, I have my legs in two boats. I have a very boutique mobile application services company in Hyderabad. So that's very small. So what I would be more keen on is to talk my new venture, that is Real Foods. So which is basically to bringing absolutely authentic organic ingredients to the consumers. Now here my challenges are not technology. For me, technology is already available. It's just an e-commerce site. Whatever functionalities advanced once I need, they're available. I just subscribe to it and put in a plugin, and I go back. My challenges are very different. I don't know whether I mean, most of these startups that come here, they talk about tech and it's all tech, but this is completely different. The challenge we find is actually educating the customer, the need to farmer to uh, get into organic cultivation.
Ashok,
And
Ashok, can I just interrupt for a second? I think you have intermittent internet, Ashok. I think your internet's going on and off. There is an
yeah,
audio. There is an
no, it's
audio.
a broadband.
If you go to
It's a
the settings,
broadband.
if you have the
What?
settings over there, you're on the right side on the panel, you have a settings button there next to
Yeah,
phone. So if you
yeah.
click the settings, there's an audio only mode over there. In case that will help you, because it will be very light on the bandwidth. In case you want to try.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Okay. 1 second.
I think the first time we're trying it live, so I don't know what's going on.
No, I just off my video. That's cam mode.
Yes, Ashok.
Yeah. So the challenges are one is educating the customer. The second is to get more and more farmers get into organic cultivation. And there's a notion that once you cultivate, once you move to organic, the production comes down, so your revenue goes down, etc., which is not all correct. It's actually different. The story is different. That's one part of it. The second part is we face challenges in terms of certification. So when we sell organic foods, we have two same product is delivered in two methods. One, we certify it, so people who buy know that this is certified, so they believe it's organic. Though certification, honestly, to tell you, it's nothing. It's stupidity. I mean, I can certify anybody as Indira Gandhi. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. Then there is trusted. So products are trusted. So, but when you're selling on e-commerce, when I'm selling to some customer in Delhi, Calcutta, anything, certification plays a role. It becomes important. So, certification is is a challenge. But yes, the governments are doing something, a lot of things to help us out on this. Uh, the one way that my current principal has solved the problem of authenticity of organic is by having it on blockchain. So my principals are the only company, probably in the entire Asia Pacific, to have their food products on a blockchain platform. So you can track it from the sowing time to the selling, so the entire life cycle. Yeah. So these are the few things. The others are all basically logistical issues, and of course, we have a big issue in terms of big problem in terms of funding. As far as I mean, at least or maybe I may be wrong because I never went out and tried it much, but I hear it from some others. It's a challenge to raise funds for a business like us because we are not really innovating anything, right? But yes, uh, the crux of in my business is authenticity of the product. That is very critical. It's very difficult to be really sure that what you're buying is really organic. You go to a mall, you have thousands of brands which are labeled like organic, organic. It took me 4 years to search a right organization which is actually pure organic. So that kind of trust products availability is a challenge again. So these are all logistical product sourcing. These are the issues we have. One of the key problem for all these problems is basically availability of data. The data availability of where this is produced, who is produced, is not actually there in our country to the extent that it should be. So again, I'm proud to say my principal has started something called as Organic Pandit. You can probably Google and find it out. They try to bring in all this organic communities into one platform, onto blockchain, etc., etc. So this is a journey that has started. It's a work in progress. So these are general issues that we have. As I said, tech-wise, we don't have anything, nothing much. So
Perfect. Hey,
our
thanks.
innovation is nothing. What we try to uh, do is being honest to our consumer. That's the core of our.
Perfect. Thanks. Thank you so much, Ashok. Thank you so much for this. I think what we are hearing is that yes, there are technologies that is using like blockchain, trust, a very critical and important factor. I'm sure that Jagat, you also will have some aspects to talk about because trust, customers, building community are some very, very critical aspects. And I think for both Bimlesh and Ashok, you all should look at how can we communicate more, over communicate. Always better to over communicate. You need to talk to your communities and Bimlesh, sitting in wherever you're sitting in, you might be dealing with founders, and Ashok, you're dealing with farmers. So how do you use audio? How do you use video? How do you use platforms to communicate with your key stakeholders will play a very, very important and critical role. And Jagat, keeping that in mind, how are things with you? And first of all, I want to again once again thank you for providing your platform and enabling Vidphone to be able to support all the communities and founders out here. Thank you so much for that once again. And over to you, Jagat. What are your challenges? And I'm sure that you have thought through some of the ways that you can take support from people like Bimlesh and Ashok to tackle the situation. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Vijetha. Very kind. I think yes, of course. Again, as I said, always together. We are doing wonderful stuff. I think we should keep it going. Um, yes, I have a slide, so let me just run through a couple of our big challenges. Of course, the fact is that yes, we got into video well before the pandemic, right? And of course, last year video meetings became kind of done game. So the challenges and improvement areas that I see going forward for us. One is, of course, I'm always looking at what is the future roadmap. So, what does a remote work platform actually look like? And today, if I show you, it's something. It's a bit like this. If you can see my screen, so I think I can't open that when I'm on the chat, but
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it, Jagat. We just saw the slide about virtual office.
yeah, but it's not going. The lobby. I can't open it here. So, yeah.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
So,
Yeah, this yeah, we can see this. Yeah.
No, this is a push we did just yesterday. It's like playing tricks. You're supposed to actually go straight into the virtual office, but I just got to click on a link now to get out of the loop. But it's not happening. Anyway, so let's not worry about this. Um, One of the things, obviously, the future roadmap. So today we have video meetings, webinars, the virtual office. We have Vmail, video mail. So we have all the tools needed for remote work in one place, and then we have your team in one place. So we have. I say that work is basically your tasks, teams, and tools. Right. I try to simplify it, and I felt this was very straightforward. And of course, your tasks, I think most people today have their task management kind of sorted. So, but I think the tools for remote work and your remote team, I think they were not together. So I think that's where, that's the current roadmap. And we're seeing how it goes in the future with respect to remote sales, remote marketing, support, collaboration. So that's definitely one big challenge for us. What's the roadmap? How does it look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Working on that. The second, of course, is the community and ecosystem development, right? So why this is important is that today anybody, I mean, it's easy, right? Every venture capitalist would ask me how it is from Zoom. It's not a rocket science question to ask us. But the moment you see our dashboard, you will see we have 10 things and Zoom does one thing. And there's a lot of difference. But apart from that, I think Zoom, Google, Microsoft, they operate in the, as you said, the innovation cluster of the US. And there is a lot of community ecosystem and startup, that's an advanced level the way they work things. So if we as any other Indian company, any other Indian startup, if we need to compete globally, we need to be in a globalized kind of ecosystem. So for us, obviously, I've been part of this for 10 years, and I feel like we have some sharings to kind of put out. Of course, the more and more people join in, and it becomes amazing. So ecosystem development and community is a big challenge, and it's not a challenge, I would say, but it's something we look forward to. The second, of course, is the roadmap. So these are my two points.
Thank, thank you so much, Jagat. And Jagat, we have been always talking about. No, you were mentioning very clearly community and ecosystem. I think whether it's Ashok and even for Bimlesh, the more we reach out, the more we connect, the more that you seamlessly figure out the way you can bring in more and more people to work with you. It could be partners, it could be collaborators, it could be customers, it could be startups, founders, investors. That is how it really works. So like Bimlesh, for example, if like you put yourself wearing a thinking hat, okay, as you can say for say Jagat or for Ashok, and both of them are trying to grow whatever they're trying to achieve. Okay, so this is what the Startup Sunday and informal boardroom is all about. What would you think that Jagat can do differently? What can Ashok do differently, apart from whatever they're doing right now? Okay, just a crisp overview, and then Jagat, you can talk about how Bimlesh or Ashok could approach their challenges and problems, please.
Sure, happy to. I think Jagat's Vidphone solution is a very interesting proposition, given that there are several new tools that have come out in the market, and customers have adopted different tools right now, right? And there are still there are still more consumers and B2B customers in the market that are continuing to evaluate products. I think there's an opportunity to find a niche. Which segment is currently unhappy with the existing tools that are available to suit their use case? And that's the discovery part, which I think can be researched, can be experimented for Jagat to find out their sweet spot. Have a very clear value proposition and a comparative communication on how Vidphone is different, right? From Zoom, from AirMeet, and from Hubilo, Hop On, and so on and so forth. And trying to identify that niche and go big on that niche. It's okay to acquire one niche market. You be important to someone rather than being somebody for everybody, right? That stickiness has to come in from that one segment, and once you capture that one segment, you can always expand, right? I think that's that will be my suggestion to for Jagat as part of his growth expansion plans. For Ashok, the way I see it is uh, it's a great problem that he's trying to solve. Food is a very important aspect of every human being's life. We are already seeing Singapore. I think early last year during COVID, the first company in the world to come up with a certified plant-based meat come out, right? And now for vegetarians, we have the organic food being produced. As Ashok said, trust is a factor, but traceability is a nice to have thing. Uh, for Ashok, I would say for him to really double down on his marketing. Marketing does require a lot of money if you go the traditional way, but he can look at a lot of unconventional methods of using video marketing and content marketing. And if he or one of his team members become the real, uh, you know, pseudo influencer for their own product, their own brand, get into education based marketing with video, going to real farms, talking about the products. This has a completely different ball game on how you can attract consumers towards your brand. And I think that as a strategy, I've seen it work for several non-tech enabled businesses, who have leveraged Facebook video or live video tools, to solve this problem. So I think that will be my recommendation for Ashok to explore that as a tool to solve.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think Ashok, you were saying something. You were mentioning something, or did we just lose out? I think I'm not too sure. But thank you, Bimlesh. That was very nicely captured. And Jagat, would you like to talk about? So I'm sure that you have understood what Bimlesh is saying. There, I know that you are doing a lot of things to grab customer mind share, wallet share, etc., etc. You are the original hustler, a great salesperson as well, and someone who genuinely cares for customers. And I know, I mean, I think Jagat, you should also talk about the customers that you're working with. A quick thank you to Mamta from Kutum for giving a shout out to Jagat. But I would like to enable a conversation. Bimlesh and Jagat, talk about Jagat. You should also talk about Bimlesh. What he's trying to do very different. Working with founders, working with startups, helping them to grow is what Bimlesh is trying to do. But how are things with you, Jagat? How are you managing the situation, battling it out, using technology, using your concepts? A small team, but a very focused team that I know about and is trying to do a lot of important things. So please have the conversation, Bimlesh and Jagat, please.
No, sure. I think thanks, Bimlesh. Definitely, I think niche. We've been thinking about it for a while. Actually, 2019ish, we had our video meetings sorted and the webinars. Well before Teams and Meet really became the browser-based, choice. And
Sorry, I think I kept disconnected.
no,
Now it should be stable. Can I just put in
no,
a word, just in continuation with what Bimlesh suggested a few things.
yeah, Ashok,
In
please,
fact,
please go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, in fact, I had a very sketchy conversation with Jagat a few months back. How probably we'll be using video in terms of having a recipe classes and educating health benefits of organic foods, etc. Actually, I missed out of one point where video would be very critical for me to further growth. We're just waiting for the next harvest to come in actually, because my business also depends on the harvesting season for many of the ingredients. See, one of the big USPs of real foods that is going to be is that we are trying to bring back the lost ingredients of food. I'll give an example. 4 centuries back, there were 1 lakh rice varieties in India, just in
Right.
India. Today, you probably know about 11 or 12 that's available in the market. I'm working with certain groups or clusters which are producing the traditional rices. We have mapped about 1,862 rice varieties in India. Now, interestingly, some of these rice varieties are meant for diabetic patients. Some of the rice varieties are meant only for desserts. You can't consume it in a normal way, like sambar rice or nothing like that. So there's a very interesting fact, and there are huge health benefits to it. As long as they're grown in an organic way, there are tremendous amount of health benefits. This is something which I had a very sketchy discussion a long time back with Jagat on how probably we'll use video to educate customers on this. That's something in the pipeline. So my USP is going to be getting the lost ingredients back into the market and educating that, where of course video will play a very crucial role. Probably by June, the next harvesting season, you'll see about maybe 30, 40 varieties of rices available in my e-shop.
Super.
Fantastic.
Nice, nice. Thank you, Ashok. You know, guys, I should say this, Ashok and Bimlesh and Jagat. No, technology, everything is all good, but ultimately we have to eat food.
Yeah.
We keep forgetting about that.
You
Too
can't
many
eat
times we
meeting
think that
links.
technology
No,
can't replace.
I'd like to point out a few things. Not that I'm trying to market myself, but then I'm sure all of you are conscious about your health, because if not health, none of you will be sitting here. Uh, you see the crisis in Punjab and Haryana that's happening right now, right? I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I'll just give you something which will relate to what I'm trying to do. Now, because of the MSP, the Punjab farmers grow wheat and rice always, which are water intensive. So the water table in Punjab has gone down, because of which they're forced to use pesticides to keep the production at the same levels what they want. Because of which there's a growth of cancer year on year by 16% in Punjab alone. This is something which people miss out. So the importance of food is very, very critical. I mean, without that, no startups, sir. No startup founder, healthy founders.
So it's called
Right.
founders feed.
Yeah.
It's the,
No. I'll give you an interesting example here. You see, Reliance sold the first Yankee bonds, without 100-year bonds, when Dhirubhai was alive in US. So Anil Ambani was part of it. He was a wizard who was selling it. So somebody asked him, he was pretty healthy at that time. Somebody asked him, how do I trust you? You don't seem to be healthy, and these bonds are going to be paid back to me by not you, by your next or next generation. So that's the time he became serious, and that's when he started his marathon runs and became trying to become healthy. That's what it is. So.
Yeah, that's a good input, Ashok. Health is wealth. Health is wealth, right? I think Jagat Bimlesh, you'd agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic. Hey, thanks so much. Jagat, you were just mentioning a few things when Ashok jumped in.
yes.
So please do continue your conversation.
Thank you.
Jagat, go ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Bimlesh's input, 100%. That's something that we look at a lot. Niching is something that we've been looking to niche for quite a while. And honestly, the market is so nascent today. There's only meeting links. There is nothing else in video today. There's only meeting links and there is webinars. That's it. So it's too nascent. Like right now, you can see with Kutum, with Ashok, and with Bimlesh's own use cases that may be coming up. Everybody's got their own way of using it. So it's been kind of interesting. We've not wanted to niche for that. But one thing is very clear: we are focused on entrepreneurs, startup founders. So that's like a very, very clear focus because I kind of, this happened recently, right? I think I was sharing with Vijetha also. Once I crossed the 10 years and then it kind of came to me, how this thing is going to actually work. And today I just finally got the screen. I was doing the link wrong. So if you look at it, this is the virtual office that we have. So this is basically what, I would want as a, to enter every day, like just to kind of work. Kind of what I do. So I just basically can take a seat. I just get into the office at, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting here in my desk. And that's pretty much what I've built so far. And I got all my tools, Vmail, meetings, webinars, scheduling, video bookings, and my entire lead management. So for me as an entrepreneur, I want to see how many leads I generate. That's what I'm able to close. A very, very important aspect for every entrepreneur. So we put it down. So here you can see with just this one initiative, Startup Sunday, we have now, 200 leads, Vijetha. You see that? 200 leads generated. So this is kind of how we wanted to do. So the niche is coming together. It's basically, we have always wanted a one-stop. Me as an entrepreneur, where do I go at 8 in the morning, start working, where do I close? So my flow goes, and today all my investor meetings happens on Vidphone. Customer meetings happen on Vidphone. The webinars, outreach happening on Vidphone. Lead management Vidphone. Internal communication, email is Vidphone. So I hardly use any other tools. I don't even use email. So it's becoming pretty convenient for me as an entrepreneur. So that niche is now very clear. All of our activities, LXS, Founders Feed, everything is about entrepreneurs because we breathe entrepreneurship. So that's one thing that's very clear to us. But at the same time, I must say that yes, Citron, some other large companies, we are doing deployments. because they have a big need as well. Even enterprises today, they want solutions beyond meeting links. They understand that a Zoom or Google Meet is not the end of the world, and they look at what is video experience, what is video customer experience. So that's when we give them, for example, Citroen. It's a video showroom. So you basically click a button and you're entering a video car showroom and buy a car with the sales guy, and never done in the world before. So we have been, like what Bruce Lee says, no way has a way. I kind of kept that because I felt it was appropriate. Now we have to observe where the market's going. Difficult to kind of say we are this. So to be honest, Bimlesh, but definitely, and I must say that, we are also part of the 1,000 founders, I think the cohort. Thanks, Bimlesh.
Right.
Yeah. Tosh is a friend of mine. So, really happy to be part of the cohort. So we'll figure out more things. And our goal is to, be the platform for remote work. Like you come in the morning, 8 o'clock, you check into Vidphone, direct, you check out itself. And so there's no question of, for employees, especially like Vijetha, you will not get burdened beyond time. People cannot send you a meeting link beyond office time. You're there, when the office opens, you're going when the office closes. Finished. Why should life be any different? Tell me. Now we're going to rally all the employees with us. That's kind of how we're doing it, Bimlesh. Yeah. But yeah, happy to, I think 1,000 founders itself is interesting. The word founder itself, it's I think very important. People talk of startups a lot, but people forget about founders.
Right.
Make the startups, and it's critical. So I think that's why, and I think we have raised our angel round. We're now looking at raising a kind of larger round as well. So when I saw the sheet, I actually saw it. I said, "Whoa, this would actually be a down round for us," and because the last valuation was much higher. So, but then I spoke to Santosh. I said, "Okay, we've got to see how that is." But apart from that, we joined the program just blindly. I didn't even do research. And I know Santosh. I checked out. I just said yes, because again, it's part of the community. I think we do it together. I don't know. I'm not going into this relationship. What can I get out of 1,000 founders? So it's not what.
Absolutely, yeah.
And let's explore. Ideally, we want best outcomes. So that's what we always work for, like subconsciously and intentionally. But I hate milestone deadlines. I mean, how does it work? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So let's see. It's an exploration. Hopefully, the 1 month will be good, and 11 months. Yeah. Hopefully, we make a lot of money for you.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks for keeping 1,000 founders.
Hopefully, people will help us to make money for them. So that's how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the key things that we have been talking about, in the community, I've been coaching and mentoring startups over the last 2.5 years after my exit of my previous venture. And one of the things that I've always seen work is, entrepreneurs struggle to collaborate with another startup. Two businesses, they look at it as two businesses.
True.
Right? Sometimes even in the same category, they look at another startup as a competitor. Right? The way I've always looked to help, founders to look at this problem is, can you first identify which category that you belong, and do you exist alone or do you coexist with a bunch of other businesses as well? And if you are in a category which is used by a customer who also uses several other products and services, then that's a way for you to coexist and build collaborations with similar coexisting products and services organizations. Because there is no organization that uses one tool for everything, or one service for everything.
In fact, even meeting links, if you see,
right,
you would use 4 of them in a day. You would use a team, you would use a Zoom link, you would use a Vidphone. So even a user actually is using 4 or 5. He's not using one.
Right.
Vidphone also, so that's easier. Actually.
Yeah. So this is where it becomes important for the founder to open their their mindset to explore, as to understand that in my market, how, on what definitions do I coexist with other products and services in the ecosystem, right? That's how organizations are built. That's how ecosystems are built. That there is always an opportunity for another product, another service. But the key to grow together is to find that coexistence opportunities, right? And then have a joint go-to market. One pulls the other into an opportunity, or at times you both together go and pitch for an opportunity, right? And that will happen only when you extend each other's arms to explore this as a mindset shift, that let's work together. We would recommend you, you would recommend us. Can we have tighter integration with our products? Thereby, you are a top product in your category, I'm a top product in my category. It makes sense to have our product integrated. Thereby, the end customer who is running this businesses benefits from the power of our integration, right? So these have seen some startups adopt this methodology. We have great examples in the ecosystem, and that has really helped both the companies to grow.
Thank you so much, Bimlesh and Jagat, and of course Ashok as well. So, gentlemen, one of the aspects that I would like to get your inputs from, right? See, sales is important. Getting more customers. Look, whatever you say and done, ultimately generating revenue is a critical angle of this, right? So you all are doing three
True,
very
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 true.
diverse. I think Jagat, we have a very diverse kind of situation out here, right? I mean, Bimlesh's business is different, Ashok's community and system is different, Jagat, you're different, but ultimately it's also about generating revenue, sales, getting people to commit and trust you. So how do you build that goodwill and trust? Imagine you're a SaaS startups. Just imagine that. Okay, you're a SaaS company, and you're sitting where you're sitting. You need to still generate revenue. You have to build trust. You may be not even able to meet a lot of your folks face to face, because and face to face costs a lot of money. Let's be very honest about it, right, Jagat? Because virtual office means also that you don't have to invest in huge infrastructure, etc. Right? So how does this work out? How do you build trust? How do you still convince someone that whatever you're doing, you are not someone who's going to disappear? So, I mean, does
Yeah,
that make sense? And what are the thought processes you have around that?
let me take that maybe. I think one way I've always looked at is trust is a process. If I look at our relationship between a person, it's not one instant that trust is built. It's how that person has behaved over time, and that's really trust, right? If I can trust somebody, it's that they have come through more times than not, and that's really how. So I think consistency, and in fact, I was attending an event, where I was invited by the Israel startups. Last week I was speaking uh, about their go-to-market, how they come to India, and one of the points we mentioned is the point, the Indian word dheeraj. And when you have dheeraj, and it is about patience, the time. I think that's critical ingredient that I think people miss. And trust is built over time. I don't think you can build trust overnight. It's not trust. Then it's just a hoax. It's a marketing gimmick. It's a good ad. But if you really want trust with a brand, so I think that's why if you look at Vijetha, I think ever since we initiated out, I wouldn't say we have launched marketing or something. We're always just doing organically. We're kind of pushing things, but week on week, 3 events. I think 6 months. So I think that's really how we want to do it. It's like a lot of events. So process, I think, is the critical thing. And I think long term, right? Trust. Video. I say that one large point. Last point is that yesterday your logo was important. Today we say your face is important. Video chat is what I call the face business. Hashtag face business. Right? So it's as important as your logo. But very interesting point you mentioned about remote sales, because I've been working on this very, very intensely. Right? I mean, how the hell do we solve video sales? It's like video business model. What is it? So one thing is that whatever is the kind of product or service, well, specifically product, let's not say service, because there's got to be a fixed kind of price and offer. But if once you have the price and offer aspect, uh, every business generating it, the funnel is the same. You drive traffic. I mean, you put content out, drive traffic, convert them. I mean, like free trial or whatever, and then you convert the user, and then you keep doing. So this is constant against every business, at least all B2C business, even B2B at a large extent. So remote sales is again like a CRM. A CRM works for every business. It's a structure, right? It's not specific to a vertical. So remote sales, the process is the same. How do you reach new customers, which is, you would say, advertising, marketing? How do I then sell to these customers, which is do the financial exchange, and then support these customers? This is the external customer journey. So that is what today on Vidphone you can do. I mean, you have meetings, webinars, email, generates and show you leads. It shows you where the lead is, about to be converted based on your video interactions, remote interactions. So that's how we see remote sales going. Critical is to have video touch point. That's like I say one thing missed. You can't do it with video links. Like how you have a website or an email or a phone number, you need to have vidphone.me/Bimlesh, vidphone.me/1000 pounds. Unless you have that video open endpoint, you cannot do video customer transactions. So that is the key break. That's very important. Because just imagine if you had to keep calling from PCO booths all the time. Imagine the old days, PCO booths. We didn't have phones. So we had to schedule calls all the time. Then we got phones in our pocket. We got a phone number. So then you had no PCOs anymore. So Zoom and meetings are like PCOs. We're like about building a video business, virtual office in your pocket. That's a lot of difference there. So that's how we envision it going. Happy to iterate and fine tune the model.
Awesome, Jagat. That's really nice. And I think what you're saying is very clear that yes, hopefully we all like to travel. We all want to meet face to face. We want to have connections. But can we use technology to still build our, the trust factors, the sales, the customer engagement? I think that's what you're really focusing and highlighting over here, Jagat.
See, I don't see this as binary, Vijetha. It's not that travel or video conferencing. No. In fact, a couple of VCs asked me like last week before that, is this a post-pandemic product? I was a little surprised. Like, what is this question, post-pandemic product? Right? I said, this is video communications. I mean, you had a pandemic sometime back. You had SARS, you had MERS. I'm 100% sure in the next 3 years, you will have something as bad, if not worse than Corona. That's his history. Now it's going to be again more relevant. I mean, what is smart is always smart. Nobody's going to use a horse after you use a bike. So video conferencing was to happen for a long time. Any science fiction, if you think, what is the first thing science fiction? Video conferencing.
Correct. So, exactly. So I think, what you're saying, Jagat, is a lot of so your customers are all over the world. So Bimlesh, even the people that you work with, are they only Bangalore based or the city based, or they could be anywhere, right? I mean, that's also important, isn't it?
Right. No, we have been fortunate that within the 1 month launch that we did a soft launch in Jan, and we received about 120 odd applications. Currently, we are running our 4 months are full. We have received applications from all over the country. We have startups also from Southeast Asia and from the US applied to us as well. So in that way, we have been blessed. That we have hit a sweet spot where it's not just about strategic advice that you get from an accelerator on here are 3 things that you do, go figure it out. But our focus has been that we work with you to figure things out, right? And that's the execution rigor and the focus that we bring into the table. And this has been validated with our first cohort, with the kind of feedback that we have received and the willingness to continue to work with us. And as Jagat said, he's also explored to apply to one of our cohorts, and he's going to start his program, as early as a week from now.
Yeah, excited.
Right. So this whole perspective of building trust is so vital that in a case like ours, it's all been on experience, right? So for our accelerator, the trust has been built on 3 of the founding partners' credibility. Each one of us have our networks and what we have done in the past. Today, the world is much open with a digital footprint on what we have said, what we have done, what we intend to do. Based on this, people have reached out. What will actually work is your customer experience, right? So how we ran the first cohort, how did each one of them experience on a week-on-week basis is what is the customer experience that is helping us to convert. And the same goes on with many of the SaaS players as well. You have a freemium product, and then how do you convert a free customer to a paid product? Right. One is what you sell is what the product does. Second, what the product does is what you can offer with great customer support when the customer gets stuck. Because in a remote world, in remote sales, it's all about the customer experience and how can you resolve the customer that is using your product in the most efficient manner and in the smoothest manner to resolve their business problems so that they can continue to use your product. So this is what I believe as building a trust process. Once you acquire a customer.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Bimlesh. And look, gentlemen, I just want to quickly highlight it. We are almost 1 hour into the conversation. See, as people who are as founders, you all have limited and time, and there are always challenges. That is, I think, one of the biggest challenges in it, Jagat and Bimlesh and Ashok. The time is a factor that we have to bring in. So, what are the
Don't be real
productivity
challenge.
tools? So, the growth hacks that you can use. What are the productivity tools that you can use? And, what is you all are communicating. There are so many things happening around the ecosystem community globally. So, what do you see as the landscape? What are the opportunities that each of you see to grow your businesses, respective businesses? So if I can get some thought process. Remember, you're talking to other founders out here. we are a community and ecosystem. And again, once again, shout out to Jagat for providing this platform from Vidphone. So what do you think about that? Productivity tools, growth hacks, the landscape. So very crisp bullet points around that, please.
Anyone, please go ahead.
Sure. So let me start. So I think one of the key things is use video and transcription for recording all your conversations with your teams, because you don't know when ideas come out exuberantly, when some of these ideas can be nascent to a product, or even ideas that can be solving towards a customer pain point. So tools like Vidphone, along with a voice transcription, you can empower everyone to kind of create an auto note type of an activity. So two things happen. One, it helps you to record what has happened in the past, and some of these highlights can be used as a quick reference. So documentation of your ideas and your action items of commitments is very important. Second is, be very focused. If you're good at one thing, do that very well. Continue to do that very well, and only then move on to next task. I'm a great person believer over the years that multitasking is a myth. That great multitaskers achieve great productivity levels. No, pick up a task, finish it before you move on to another one. Else, you'll have too many tasks that you have spread out wide, but you have actually not made any progress on many of them. So I know I will stop with two. Though would love to give more, but I'll stop myself with two and have others to pick their brain thoughts.
Thank you so much, Bimlesh. Very nicely done.
Go ahead,
Jagat
Ashok.
and Ashok, please.
Yeah. In my case, I think for my growth, video would play a major role. A dual engagement between the presenter and the consumer would play a massive role. That's what is in the pipeline. Probably a couple of months from now, we should be there. So in my kind of a business, constant interaction with the customer, as well as pumping in the benefits of consuming what we are asking them to, is very critical, very important. I think video has a very big role to play in my kind of a business. And I
Nice,
agree
nice.
with
Thank
Bimlesh very much on the multitasking stuff. It's absolutely right what he said.
Thanks, Ashok.
you. Thanks, Ashok. Thanks so much, Bimlesh and Ashok. Jagat?
Thank you.
See, productivity tools, I'll be a little biased here. I'm not doing sales, but to be honest, that's what we are building Vidphone to be. Vidphone is the entrepreneur's remote work software, remote work platform. So to me, a lot of my work actually, like now, I have spent an hour on Vidphone. I had like 3 calls on Vidphone. Otherwise I'm communicating on Vmail. What Bimlesh said, very good point about video transcription. So the challenge there is that in India, we have the accent is a big nuisance. In fact, if we do the transcription, you will get profanity. So we had to roll back that feature. We said, no, we can't push this out. So that will take a bit of time because we are not building yet the transcription AI. So that is something that we have to see. That will depend on maybe Google and Amazon for that. But it will happen, I think, soon. They'll figure out the accents and transcribe better. The transcription definitely is important. But Vmail, video mail is something that we have. It's another feature. Like exactly what you said. It's basically about video notes. Like asynchronous video communication. Today we're doing synchronous communication. So video mail is very important for that. So I think we don't know all the answers. So one thing is that I don't know what's the best productivity platform today. I don't think there is one, but we're building. We're trying to build, like at least for an entrepreneur. Eventually, I want to the whole thing that I've seen how to be efficient. At least what I've learned is you have to have the right timetable as an entrepreneur, right? Like you've got to be able to structure your day. So you're doing like 8 things constantly, and it's like advertising, marketing, sales, support, product, HR, finance, and admin. Like I divide my whole business like 8 things, and every day I have to like do like stuff on this. So that my Kanban board is useful there. So I just use my Kanban board and Vidphone. This is what I use.
Nice. So thank you so much. I think Jagat, that's a very interesting thing that you said. No, it's of course you're not plugging with phone, but Bimlesh also said constant interactions using video. The Kanban. Can you okay, Jagat, very quickly for those who don't understand what is Kanban? Want you talk about that?
Yeah, I think so. I, bumped across again. We've been always iterating a lot of our processes for a long time, and basically this was something that I discovered back in 2010-11. It's not a new software process. In fact, even lean startups is not a startup thing. It's like from lean manufacturing. Similarly, you have Kanban was more of a Toyota kind of supply chain related thing they do, the way they structure their tasks,
Correct.
like a board. It's basically like a Trello, but Trello is again
Yeah.
in a Kanban style. So I use that because it gives me a lot of flow in the way I work. So I like to see the things move, because I have like
Correct.
typically like 4 or 5 sections, and each of them have like 4 or 5 tasks. So then the prioritization. So and I have a sprint velocity. So the whole thing has to move at a particular speed. So that to me, like that's an advanced way of Kanban. But initially, you could just go like you can use something like Kanban Flow. There is this website, pretty straightforward. You can use it like an Asana or any other task management, right? And you can actually see your tasks start moving. They're quite useful. Helps us with prioritization. Very simple.
So, and I'll tell you why, Jagat. 22 years back, that's how old I am, maybe. When I was in Taj Group of Hotels, we had this Kanban workshop with some people who had flown down from Japan. No clue about what it was all about. And it was, remember, this was pre-internet,
Absolutely.
whatever it is,
So
right?
you
But yeah,
not the internet.
Jagat, but what you're saying is very right. Thank you for sharing that, right? Yeah.
It's
But
useful. See,
yeah,
as an
yeah. So, no, but
ontology,
thank you for sharing this. It's important.
yeah, Kanban, it's not used as much today. Today's people are stuck on Slack a lot. I feel like I see it even in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like we are freaks of Asana. We use Asana like for thing because we're using Asana since 2010, 2011. We've been using it for 10 years. So I just can't mode of Asana. So, but I tried Slack. It's two ways to kind of distribute. Like so, I think Kanban gives that structure for a founder, because if you start doing things too distributed, like the tasks keep taking you to your new goals all the time, right? You need to keep your goal
Yeah.
and get that to the goal, right? So I think that
Yes.
Kanban.
Perfect. I think also, the Jagat, we have been doing these sessions around, Bimlesh, just to share with you, around risk, around funding, around legal aspects for founders, etc. Jagat has been very kind to share the platform. And yes, founders have got so much to deal with, isn't it? It's such a big
Yes.
challenge to manage your time, your priorities, your family, your health, and customers and technology, your teams. So how do you really manage it? I don't know. I don't know the answers to that, but I guess there's no
You need
choice
one
but you have to fight the
platform.
battles on.
That one, all you said in one screen. That's what we are doing now.
True.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Hey, thanks, Jagat. Ashok, would you like to give in some quick thought processes around that, please?
Nothing much to add. Coming from the business that I have, not nothing. I think what I wanted to say, Jagat and Bimlesh have very well articulated it very well.
Thank you so much, Ashok. Ashok,
And
one question
thanks.
from me to you.
Connect with Bimlesh sometime soon.
Yeah, yes, you must do that. You
Absolutely.
must do that. Bimlesh,
I'm doing sales again. We have a comments feature. Like post your LinkedIn links and you can share.
yes. I was about, yeah, correct. Thanks, Jagat, for that.
Ah,
Yes,
it's
you will
not the
must share your LinkedIn profiles here, and also, so Ashok, why are you in Pondicherry of all places? What is the connection out there? That's something that I wanted to ask you.
Actually, I am from Bangalore. For the information, I'm
Okay.
born and brought up in Bangalore. Uh,
Okay.
we moved in here about 8 years back. But I, after my college, I never lived in Bangalore. And today, if you ask me, I don't want to come back to Bangalore. So I've been in like Pune, Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Lucknow, hinterlands of Uttar Pradesh, doing some of the tech-based projects for UNICEF, which is like child monitoring, etc. So I lived most of my life in the northern side. Then I got married and I stayed in Hyderabad, and then moved to Pondicherry. Pondicherry primary intent of moving was schooling of my child. Then we fell in love with the place. So Pondi is a kind of a place. You come once here, you get stuck here. You don't like to move out. So uh, yeah,
So,
the
so,
best here.
so is that an invitation for all of us? We got to do
Yeah,
something out there, right? Pondicherry.
most welcome. And I'll tell you, we Pondi people, we don't work like Bangaloreans or Bombay. We have a very relaxed way of working. A typical
beach town.
farmer kind of a life.
Beach town. It's a beach town.
We work very leisurely and very laid back. So
Vijetha
We
is from
work the
Goa,
same
so
amount
it was all
of
about
work
laid
that
back.
everybody else do, but we do it very leisurely.
Okay, Jagat, sorry, you were saying something, Jagat?
No, I said Vijetha is from Goa, so he also knows about laid back.
Great, super.
But but I started breathing the air of Bangalore. So what to do? So things changed. Things changed a lot. Hey, but it's been such a insightful and useful conversation more than anything else. So, gentlemen, we have crossed the 1 hour mark. But Startup Sunday is all about sharing resources and supporting the community and the ecosystem. So, a very quick summary from each one of you. How do you see the future panning out? What is your next 6 months? I will not talk beyond 6 months, but how do you see the landscape moving for you guys? Please, whoever wants
Um,
to go ahead, please.
all right, let me go ahead. Our 6 months roadmap is very exciting. We are going to be impacting. Our goal is to impact 100 startups a year. We are starting with 10 a month, so about 100 is our goal. And we are seeing some great response and validation to our hypothesis that several startup founders need help in execution. As you said, there are 8 things for a startup founder to look at, and what to focus on, how to execute those priorities, how to define those priorities, crack specific problem statements. This is where Thousand Founders Accelerator comes in. So those who are interested, please go to our website, thousandfounders.in, reach me out on LinkedIn or follow us on Twitter. We are a very vibrant three set of founders who are looking to make you know India become a very transformative country by creating million jobs. That we want to be a part of that journey. Uh, and for us, 2021 couldn't have been more exciting than it is today. The way we see this year going out forward.
So, Bimlesh, would you like to quickly mention the name of your other co-founders, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, they are Santosh Panda. He was one of the founders of Explorer.com, and Praveen Singh. His previous venture was 99 Tests, and he was the one who started the Thousand Founders community on WhatsApp, and now it has become an accelerator.
Okay, thank you, Bimlesh. Thank you very, very much. Ashok or Jagat, whoever wants to go next.
Please.
Thank you.
Y- Yeah, my next 6 months would be like part of my business is always depending on the harvesting time. So next 6 months we'll have our e-com shop up and running. We would have at least about 400 SKUs available. We're planning to reach out to at least 1 lakh customers, of which probably I expect at least 6 to 7 thousand to be active customers. Uh, that's the plan. So we're going in for a targeted promotion, like we would, being a bootstrapped business, we would like target geography wise to minimize our cash burn. So probably like we focus on Bangalore, saturate it to a certain level, and then move to maybe other cities. We've already stitched our logistics, etc. They're all in place. So that's what we look at to happen in the next 6 months.
Thank you very much, Ashok, and have a good time in Pondicherry. Okay.
Well,
It's
you're
a
most welcome,
nice
sir.
beach town, and
All of you will be happy to host you.
done. I think we will. I will at least take up the offer. And Jagat Bimlesh, we should have maybe a community catch up over there. Maybe that will be an interesting one, and we beam it to all over the world, right? We
Yes.
can use Vidphone for that, isn't it, Jagat? We can do that.
Great idea again. Fantastic.
Yeah,
East Coast,
absolutely.
East Coast startups.
Yes, that's a nice one. So yes, so it doesn't have. So it doesn't have to be East Coast in the US. It can be East Coast in
Yeah, I'm
India.
saying the
Nice
real
one. Nice
East,
one. Very nice one.
the real East Coast and the real West Coast is Goa. Vijita, you remember my plan, right? You remember that. We have to. That's the real startup hub in India, not Bangalore. Bangalore is godforsaken. I'm Bangalore. We're finished.
Yeah.
Over. Exploding. Let's move to Goa.
Goa. Let's create this Goa and Pondicherry communities, guys.
Yes,
Let's do that.
absolutely.
Super, super.
Nice,
So
nice,
yeah,
nice.
my
Thank you.
turn.
Thank you so much, Ashok.
6 months.
Jagat, your thought?
Yeah, sorry, sorry. Yeah, my turn. Really interesting, right? I 20. It's been very crazy. I see that things can change very fast. So I say this with a kind of big caveat, saying we don't know which virus is around the corner, but generally our goal is to now we have a clear method to empower entrepreneurs, like to reach out to their customers, to cater and convert their customers, to talk to their investors, to talk to their team. We have the whole thing set up. Now it's really about us taking this business and how do we kind of actually do 10x on video. Like video is by default a 10x business. It's very straightforward. Any business that I see today, like even if I look at for example, 1,000 founders, or for example, Ashok's real food business, the number one thing would be, let's say, the founder actually coming out and talking about the business. That's the only way that a small company can take on a big company. Like Y Combinator does not need Paul Graham to come and talk today, but that's what he did for years. So today he doesn't talk. He has Adora and everybody is doing. But I think, and even if we look at Ashok's business, I look at Ashok's business very differently. It's not about, it's a lifestyle brand. Ashok should focus on lifestyle. You don't look to sell to everybody, right? You look at premium guys who have, who want to buy the best stuff. So that is a complete branding, mama earth kind of stuff. I think we have, like, that's my take on it. There also, I think, Ashok's personal image and personal experiences around food, that's what will emotionally connect with the customers. And today, the only way to do it is webinars, right? So webinars, I think, how can we power webinars to make it easier? More founders are actually talking. Look, we have a big challenge in India. Not everybody is as fluent in English as we are. They're really scared of actually talking in front of a camera. And it's a serious issue. It's not a joke. And that's something I want to address. I want to make the platform easy. So once you do the webinar and the outreach, it's really that core, right? Remote business is not just about webinars. Today we're doing webinars. My big thing is, how do I fix after webinars? How do I make sure that this lead is actually nurtured to become a customer, and then the customer support on video? So that flow is very straightforward. And the second thing for us is the employees. We want employees to be chilled out. We hate this whole burnout. People going crazy with Zoom meeting stuff. We really hate it. We don't. I've never used a Zoom meeting link unless I joined your webinar, I think, that day. But I never use Zoom links. I never use meeting links. It's a waste of time. And why would someone use? If anyone wants to chat with me, they come to vidphone.me/room/Jagat. Simple. That's where it's like my phone number. So how do we better, kind of drive marketing on this is a huge thing for us. I think marketing is a big deal. I think that's our focus for 6 months. We have the product reasonably in shape. It's going to be mainly, I just look at marketing and outreach. And really take on the big.
So I think Jagat and Bim. Yeah, so I think Bimlesh and Ashok and Jagat. So you have talked about not you have touched something very sensitive here, the branding, the image. Okay, and I know it's time for another session, not today's session, but you're right.
Yeah.
How do we create convenience? How do we create ease of use, the branding? And that's something that we as Indians, as founders, we should be figuring out things in a much smarter way, maybe not even in any other way. Smarter way, communicate with more people, reach out to larger and larger audiences, and that's a way that we can grow things. Fantastic, beautiful. So, any closing comments for each one of you? And I think we should kind of say, it's Sunday evening, it's family time for all of you gentlemen and for all our audience as well. Thank you for joining in. But closing remarks for each one of you, and we are done with this today. Please go ahead.
Ashok, if you can go first, please.
Yeah, Matlav Gamas, I thank you very much, and I honestly look forward to working with Jagat on the Vidphone. There are quite a bit of plans from Real Foods. Like you say, Pondicherry, we have a lot of food culture in Pondicherry itself. We'll be using that to connect with our consumers directly. So I'm looking forward to working with Vidphone, and I definitely would love to connect with Bimlesh and take his uh, great experienced advice. Really excited to get to know him. Actually, it's fantastic. And thank you, Jagat. Thank you, Desh. I mean, it's fantastic. So thanks, Goa. Thanks, Bangalore, and thanks, Mysore,
Horrible.
and,
Horrible.
and all the best from Pondicherry.
Goa, Mysore, and Pondicherry. Three of my favorite small towns in the world. Okay, thank you.
No. Actually, I think Jagat and Bimlesh love Goa and Pondi better.
Sure.
Perfect.
Bimlesh, any closing remarks, sir? Yeah.
No, I just want to leave one point, one thought for this evening that no entrepreneur should feel that they are riding a lone journey. If you're a first-time entrepreneur today, the entire ecosystem has matured so much that there are many entrepreneurs who are willing to give you a lending ear and a helping hand. It's up to you to exploit it. It's up to you to leverage it. So network, do meaningful networking. It's all, and you cannot do meaningful networking until you have the first networking call, right? There are greater tools that have come out during pandemic, like Lunch Club, Coffee Mug, Supreme Minds. They all use video as a way to do it. Whenever you get onto these calls instead of Zoom, support another fellow entrepreneur product like Vidphone. That's how you encourage an entrepreneur to be use each other's product, and never ride this journey alone. Being alone is tough. So always reach out to people, figure out which of the entrepreneurs in your ecosystem connects with you, and that's how you start to build meaningful network relationships. And that to me is been the core and critical in my journey to reach and create this accelerator. Right? If not for that, this accelerator journey would not have happened. So this would be one thought, I'd leave for the audience today. That work with a community, build with a community, and network with people. Thank you.
Thank you, Bimlesh. Meaningful conversations. I think that's such a beautiful thing. And building the innovation clusters and getting more and more founders involved with a larger community, because you grow the pie, you grow as well, right, Bimlesh? I think that's a very beautiful input that you have given. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bimlesh.
Yeah.
Now, just my last thoughts, Vijetha. I mean, my thing is, of course, we are now ending Feb. Tomorrow is March. Let's march into March. That's what I got to say. It's good to kind of, we're closing out the financial year also. So it's like critical for a lot of people. So it's focused month. And so, when in the closing remarks, I think this is one of the best startup Sundays. I think it's really good to have, so many decades of experience on a screen to kind of share and just have some thoughts. Thanks again for Bimlesh and Ashok for coming on this thing. Share it with your networks. The recording will be available in 1 hour on the same link. You can also on YouTube, Facebook. Share it around. I think people will also, this all, when people see Startup Sunday, they also want to be part of it. And we gain nothing from this. I mean, of course, it's on Vidphone, but beyond that, it's really about, like Ashok was glad to be Bimlesh. This is what I wanted to do. I just want to make sense of this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jagat. And, Bimlesh, what we are trying to do here is, look, this is a community ecosystem activity. Any startups that you want us to kind of talk to, bring them onto any of these League of Extraordinary Startups, Startup Sunday, Startup Story, and we're doing Vidphone shows, whatever. I mean, that I'm from TIE as well. So, and by the way, Jagat is also a member of TIE Bangalore. So we're just trying to bring communities together, share resources. So let's do our best for the ecosystem. And Ashok, I'm going to take you up on this visit to Pondicherry. Okay, I love the town. Unfortunately, I've only been there surprisingly on work. So I've never had time
Most
to
welcome.
explore the city and know how beautiful. Yeah, done deal. My
No, you
friend,
can
I will reach out to you. Thank you for that.
please come with work. We'll disengage you from work.
That's what it is.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you so much.
Jagat, Bimlesh, Ashok, wonderful
Thank you all.
conversation. Really appreciate this. Enjoy your evening. And thank you so much. This is Vijetha here and to all the community and ecosystem guys, please stay in touch because that is so
Thank
critical.
you.
And of course, Jagat, you will say that video is the best tool to get, stay communicating with each other. But we must use this technology. We must.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Take
Good
care.
evening.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Take care,
Thanks,
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.